Remember during the WNBA season? Oh my gosh, all the ratings, the record ratings, blah, 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 blah. But what did we say continuously here on this channel? Yeah, record ratings. Of course you guys are gonna have record ratings. Nielsen changed how they count numbers. Of course their ratings are going to be more. It would be kind of embarrassing if they were that much less. Well, Sustainable, Unrivaled, their numbers came out and they are.
The story sounded flawless for months until the figures began to behave strangely. At that point, the festivities became more boisterous. A completely new method of gauging success arose out of nowhere, and the criteria softened. And now there's this awkward moment that no one wants to acknowledge. This is the idea that ought to worry you. What precisely is a league attempting to prevent you from recognizing when it has to alter how it measures progress?
Unrivaled could be seeing its final days as Paige, Beckers, and gang could not save the viewership from tanking. What does this mean for the WNBA when they make their return back to TV? We finna talk about it all. I told you guys a couple months ago that the views was going down on the channel. Like, the WNBA content wasn't looking too good. I was one of the first people to say that about the whole genre itself. Told y'all we was going to be making big time changes on the channel. Now, I say that to say this. Now, there has been news to come out about Unrivaled viewership being down nearly 7.
They said that Unrivaled was sustainable, a shining example of women's basketball, a league capable of defying trends, expanding its fan base, and persuading investors to continue contributing millions of dollars while the players competed on polished courts.
They say. Unrivaled is sustainable. They say. They say. Ratings have come out for Unrivaled, and folks, if I was to say fall off a cliff, if I was to say significant drop off, I would be underselling how underperforming day one of Unrivaled really was.
They made a vow and said it. And they said it with a type of assurance that made you want to double check the details, because if this was sustainable, why did Season 2's opening night look like a ghost town with a side order of tumbleweeds?
So the first set of Unrivaled ratings are in, and it's been kind of grim. And by kind of grim, I mean really, really grim. If you are Unrivaled, this is, if these are your ratings every single week on True TV, it's not the biggest disaster in the world, because by the looks of things, these True TV ratings were similar enough to what they were a year ago. Similar enough to what they were.
It would be like calling a Category 5 hurricane a light wind to describe the ratings as disappointing. The figures did not just decline. They fell, nosedived, struck the basement, knocked courteously, and finally settled into the dumpster of "we tried" statistics.
Racking hella views to begin with. They wasn't even getting hella views at all last year. Now this year their views is down by nearly 70%. This is very bad. Now, towards the decline of the WNBA season, towards the end of the season, we start seeing the WNBA kind of fudge the numbers, taking into account group party watch, well, basically watch party viewerships, counting those into, effect like bars and stuff like that.
For the uninitiated, let's set the scenario. The first season got off to a great start. Record ratings, banners flying, and commentators declaring that women's basketball was now a mainstay, unstoppable, and expanding. Furthermore, the future seems more promising than a halftime light show. Just one issue: the record ratings were a bit too handy. Nielsen had modified their approach, a move that caused numbers to mysteriously rise everywhere. All of a sudden, everything appeared larger, better, and more well-liked than it actually was. It's similar to purchasing shoes that are too big and informing everyone of their unique fit. Although they have an amazing appearance, they are not really useful. Let's fast forward to Season 2. Yes, it is correct. Approximately 140,000 fewer people choose to spend watching a professional basketball game on Monday night demonstrated once more that momentum is really a fancy term for being fortunate last year. At 107,000 viewers, the afternoon games were considerably worse. Someone failed to notify them these games were happening. A number murmurs softly, and that's precisely what took place. Some fans didn't even know Unrivaled was back. Even if a league has the best players in the world, it won't matter if no one is aware of the existence of the sport.
Interest in pretend basketball. I have been telling you guys for years, as the mainstream media has intentionally lied to us. These elite athletes are amazing! This is the best basketball in the world! Woohoo! Yes, yes, yes! We have been talking about this here on the channel for years. The so-called growth in women's basketball is an illusion.
When you examine particular contests, the details become much more severe. While the Lunar Owls attracted 30,000 people on TNT and another 20,000 on True TV, the Breeze Phantom was able to draw 40,000 viewers on TNT, in the sought-after 18 to 49 demographic. One game barely broke 50,000. To put it in perspective, comparable games reached between 90,000 and 100,000 viewers on TNT alone last year before spreading to all networks. The league went from appearing to be a rising power in less than a year to serving as a warning about how quickly hype fades when reality sets in. Securing lucrative sponsorships or pushing for more expensive expenditure on marketing and promotions are now faced at a spreadsheet that sounds like a terrible tweet. The amount of prime time is decreasing. The overall viewership is far below estimates, and afternoon audiences are insignificant.
The fact that the Rose and Lunar Owls on the primetime slot on TNT had, I don't think this is 40,000 viewers, because I think this is the NA is the actual viewers. I think this is like the ratings numbers. I think this is in and around 100,000 viewers, which isn't good. Last year it was, am I right in saying last year at 1.0? No, last year was 0.1.
The truth is harsh. Similar to a live broadcast slow-motion faceplant. Return to Earth. Let's return to gravity. Returning to the very true idea that no amount of sustainable branding can mask the reality that no one is paying attention. Promotion, or lack thereof, is one aspect of the issue. Season 2 arrived with the subtlety of a whisper in a hurricane, whereas the first season profited from a whirlwind of social media excitement, savvy marketing, and the appearance of a must-see event. Fans received no significant reminders, warnings, or prodding. It may be argued that the league neglected to inform its audience of its existence. To make matters worse, the rating system itself was meant by the end of 2025. Nielsen plans to transition to a big data plus panel method, which combines traditional panel tracking with streaming numbers from smart TVs, third-party data, and all other sources. This technique inflates stats for the majority of sports, makes underperforming events appear to be tremendous triumphs, and provides networks with metrics that entice advertisers.
The early Unrivaled TV numbers are not good for season 2, that is, which is certainly no cause for celebration, but is cause for concern. When I say the first part, it's because I guarantee you there are going to be a lot of people racing to like rub it in and do like a and I'm rooting for Unrivaled success. I like the idea, the concept, the mission statement, and all of those things, but you also have to deal with the reality of a situation.
Nevertheless, Unrivaled's viewership hardly made a difference despite this upcoming advantage. Big data, panels, smart TVs. None of these could save a league that has effectively lost the audience it claimed to be the foundation of its sustainable promise. It's a delightful irony. This league was established with the goals of being creative, progressive, and sustainable. However, it is unable to maintain a viewership for its most well-known games. The data are accurate and reveal a tale of overconfidence, poorly executed marketing, and a fan base that either moved on or was unaware that there was a sequel to watch. Without a doubt, investors, the lifeblood of any nascent league, are reevaluating their stances. The athletes are competent, confident, and competitive. However, talent alone isn't enough to produce engaging sports entertainment. Packaging, advertising, and audience awareness are key. The league runs the risk of being an amazing demonstration of talent with an audience that hardly fills a portion of the stadium if fans don't show up in large numbers. Serving a fine dining meal to a vacant dining room is analogous. Delicious? Sure, sustainable, not if there's no food.
So, in case you guys do not know this, and I put this out on the Twitter, and I mean, hell, the tweet didn't even get that much interaction. Look, the Unrivaled League is in all kinds of damn trouble. They're in all kinds of trouble. Don't you find it odd that the league and the fire around it, why so quiet?
A somber comparison can be made by looking at other indicators. On opening night, Unrivaled's first year averaged more than 300,000 viewers. Prime time has 175,000 viewers this year. 107,000 afternoon slots. It's not a gradual deterioration. It is seismic that once turnout fans have vanished. Some were unaware that the season had returned. The story of a viable, expanding league begins to sound like a press release. A league can endure without record ratings, but it cannot endure without public knowledge, participation, or the belief that its games are important. The worst part is that Unrivaled is performing poorly despite the introduction of the most advanced measurement methods in the business. The enormous data of a league that has lost viewers won't be saved by the Nielsen Plus panel system, which inflates numbers for almost every major sport. One side of the math issue is significantly outnumbered. Supporters who genuinely watch versus others who just exist. Big data, smart TVs, and algorithms can all be used to solve the issue, but if no one is pressing play, the equation will still be in the red.
Starters, it's easy to show growth when you're growing from nothing to almost nothing. But people were not watching women's basketball. People were not paying $10 to be sedated while the Chicago Bravado airballed layups against the Las Vegas Anonymous Faces. Contrary to the prevailing narrative in the mainstream media, Angel Reese is not a draw. AJ Wilson, but my name.
What does this signify for league management investors? It implies that bargaining power disappears. Strategic plans must be reviewed, and any presumptions of steady viewing must be adjusted. D. It is impossible to manufacture momentum. It takes time to create buzz. Furthermore, an audience that is both knowledgeable and involved cannot be replaced by hype alone. Unrivaled's second season may feature skill, talent, and exciting games, but the sad truth is that a league cannot succeed just on talent. In order to sustain the discourse after the broadcast, it requires viewers to be on the screen, seats to be occupied, and social media interaction. In the end, Unrivaled Season 2 is a warning against presumptions, advertising, and the distinction between a successful debut and long-term success. The truth is that even the best measurement methods are unable to create an audience that isn't watching, which is why ratings plummeted and momentum stalled. Fans are important. Being aware is important. In the end, sustainability is a concrete outcome rather than a promise. Unrivaled may endure, but its assertion that it is a long-lasting, self-sustaining league is seriously questioned. Additionally, the league runs the risk of being known more for unmet expectations than for outstanding basketball if there is no change in direction.
Unrivaled ratings are in to begin season 2, and they're not great. To be honest, it should have been kind of expected. This is the second season. You're probably going to peak at the first time you come out, which last year I believe they were in the 300s, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to pull up the numbers in just a second. The Athletic's Ben Pickman put them out. I saw people talking about the key demo rating as well. That was like kind of some misinformation from folks that don't know how rating.
The question of why fans vanish still stands. Was it the transient nature of sports euphoria, a lack of advertising, or disinterest? Is it possible for the league to win back fans before the narrative of failure solidifies? Time will tell if the sustainability promise was never real. Unrivaled has the power to change things around. A catchy slogan with no real meaning. As of right now, the figures are more important than the promises, and those figures reveal a tale of decline, disappointment, and a league that is finding it difficult to live up to its own expectations. A league without spectators is like a car without gas, notwithstanding Unrivaled's simultaneous claims of sustainability. It may have all the necessary features and appear sleek features, but it's here to stay. In the realm of sports entertainment, perception frequently triumphs over reality. So let's not overlook the optics here. Even with a crowded arena, top athletes, and thrilling finishes, the tale will quickly change if the statistics on the paper indicate otherwise. Unrivaled second season is a lesson in how quickly hype can fade. You're hailed as the next big thing in women's professional basketball one moment. Your primetime viewership hardly fills a small bistro the following minute. That cannot be sustained. You would need sunglasses just to browse past the data since the caution signal is blinking so loudly.
And I believe part of the reason is, hey, Project B has put the writing on the wall for Unrivaled. All right? It's no way around it. There's two things at work here. Number one, there's going to be a sale of Warner Brothers Discovery to somebody, whether it's Netflix or whether it's Paramount. And we've already found out, well, part of that, most likely, will be that the one place you can stream Unrivaled games is...
It is impossible to exaggerate the importance of promotion or its conspicuous lack. Because everyone was aware of its existence, the first season flourished. Every play, dunk, and buzzer beater was amplified on social media, and even casual viewers were interested enough to watch. The irony of technology undermining the story is another. It was anticipated that Nielsen's switch to big data with panel ratings would save leagues by providing a more complete viewership picture that would raise figures overall. This results in exuberant headlines about record-breaking viewership in practically every other sport. Football inflated on Thursday night. Primetime events are unparalleled and exaggerated. The figures hardly changed. Revenue from advertising, upcoming broadcast agreements, sponsorship agreements. The audience is a crucial component that all of these depend on. A drop from more than 300,000 to 175,000 viewers is more than just a figure. It's a warning that the league could need to modify its approach, lower expectations, or get ready for a more difficult financial situation than anyone had imagined. The term sustainable league is beginning to sound less like a real, quantifiable achievement and more like a polite fantasy. It's important to consider the implications for the fans that did watch.
Television numbers are not one-to-one with revenue. Rights deals get signed, agreements get signed, money that comes in, ad dollars can all be, independent specifically of the ratings, but the ratings tend to influence the media rights deal and the overall numbers that come in and what advertisers are expecting. So of course, that's why they often become a story. And in this case, you're in the second season of Unrivaled, so you're curious to see how it's going to do going.
Even while Season 2 features elite athletes, thrilling matches, and competitive games, there's an odd sense of emptiness when watching in a small crowd or when your favorite game is limited to a week broadcast time. When the audience has reduced so much, the energy that drives live sports commentary, fan reactions, and social buzz just doesn't exist. When the group experience vanishes, the game's spectacle loses half of its effect, leaving a league with simply skill and strategy and little of the energy that draws spectators. In the end, the incident is a multifaceted cautionary tale. Sustainability is not assured by talent. Hype is ephemeral. The league might change, fans might come back, and if the appropriate tactics are used, the following game may experience a jump in viewing. However, the lesson is evident for the time being. It doesn't matter how much you market, how talented you are, or how sustainable you are if the audience doesn't return. Ratings are the final arbiter, and in Season 2, they called foul, indicating that Unrivaled has a long way to go if it wants to live up to its own boasts.